Welcome back to the Social Entrepreneurship Show. I'm your host, Dr. Rashida Weaver, and we're going to talk about today the importance of community for social entrepreneurs in particular. Let me get cozy. Yeah, cozy is a bit of a gloomy day here in Jersey. But I'm excited to talk about this topic because from as long as I've been in this field, over 10 years, uh, close to 15, um, and even if you think about even the way it all started back when I was 13, like I just didn't even know what the term social entrepreneurship was when I decided to go to school to learn about business and how to use business for social good. I went to a business high school and in Midtown Manhattan. And it's just there's so many ways that social entrepreneurs can benefit from a greater uh, community and a greater understanding and discussions amongst community. And one of the main um, factors that would be beneficial for social entrepreneurs includes unique circumstances, right? You're trying to do two things that people tend to think are opposing, which is like making money and doing good. Many people think that the root of all evil is money. And so, but as we see here on my book cover, money can be used to do some really good things. We know that, absolutely. Philanthropy oh my, it's almost like a form of philanthropy in many cases, especially depending on how you design your social enterprise. But unique circumstances, you're mixing social good and money, and sometimes environmental good and justice as well. You're also a unique person. You're rare. You're not the average person, and so benefiting from like-minded people, being connected to like-minded people, is so incredibly important for social entrepreneurs. So incredibly important. Um, for the mindset, for the co-working sessions, like you can literally work together, collaborate, trust, collaborations, partnerships, where you offer, maybe you have the clients, but another social entrepreneur has the services that those clients need, and you can partner with one another. But if you operate in silos, you won't know that each other exists. And because you don't know that each other exists, you can't be beneficial to one another. So incredibly important. And I know this is a spiritual tangent, but I believe that what you seek is seeking you. And so if you've created a business, an organization, a product, a service, a program, I believe that there's a customer base out there that is waiting for you. They just need to know how to find you. And sometimes it's the marketing and sometimes it's the community, having a sense of community, and your community members can talk to all these different people, your network. But I do genuinely believe that there is somebody out there for you. If you had the desire in your heart and the wherewithal to actually not only to take your vision and to make it a reality, I do believe that there's a reason for that, and that's coming from a higher spiritual power that is guiding you. And you just need to figure out the process, go through the process actually. And then another saying by Rumi is, as you walk on the way appears. All right. So I said a unique circumstances. Another reason is safety net. You do not want to first reach out to people when you are in a time of need. You actually want to also be of service to other people as well, because you will need them one day. I think that's one of the beautiful things about life. It's one of the hard things, but it forces you to learn how to communicate. Some of us are hyper independent. I am not. I'm interdependent. I used to be codependent. I'm not gonna lie to you. Used to be one of those people that was never single, always around my family. I mentioned in a previous video I have a huge family, so it makes sense that I was codependent to some extent. But I'm definitely interdependent now, meaning I can operate and do things on my own, but I have partners and I have resources and I have networks and connections. And I don't want to do everything on my own. That's exhausting. And it's also really lonely. So let's talk about community. Let's keep talking about community. Um, Safety net. You never know what is going to happen in this world. And I remember during the pandemic in particular, we saw so many social enterprises join forces, particularly local social enterprises, right? Social enterprises that were on the ground in the same community and may have never really worked together before, but clients were drying up, right? Because resources, nobody knew what was going on. And so we saw during the pandemic social entrepreneurs coming together for the first time. But I've been thinking a lot recently, and my dad is an entrepreneur, and he's been doing this pretty much his whole adult life, and before I was born, and he's been able to do this through partnerships that have lasted literally like 40 years. He partners with the same people to host events every year. And he has a great customer base and people show up, his fan base. He's a Jamaican celebrity and but he's a celebrity from Jamaica and it started out as a Jamaican celebrity, but my dad tours in Mexico, Hong Kong, and all these different places. And I just can't see his career being that big without those partnerships because it's like guaranteed every year they're going to host events together. They're going to make a certain amount of money. Like, it's just like guaranteed. And yeah, so community is really, really incredibly important. And um, we all have a unique gift, each and every person, and each and every organization has a need that they are trying to fulfill, a cause that they are trying to like a social cause that they're kind of trying to either advance or like even combat sometimes like a social problem. And it's so important that we remember that we're not in this alone. But don't just like call upon people when you need them or when times are hard. Like be there to offer something even that they may need, just foster those relationships. And I like a coffee date can go a long way. A tea time can go a long way. A lunch, a dinner, just get to know other social entrepreneurs, particularly that are in your local community and in your space, your particular niche area. Most definitely. Trust and collaboration. Also, if you have been operating in a field for a certain amount of years, even if you're never going to know everyone in it because people are constantly coming into the field. But trust is so incredibly important. And I don't think I mentioned it here, but I mentioned this in my boot camp that there were people that saw me for a few years before purchasing from me, and it's just that they knew after a while, they're like, okay, so she's a social entrepreneurship lady, the global expert. And she doesn't seem like she's going anywhere. And she seems legit. She keeps showing up. And so, yeah, people are watching you and they recognize that and they see you showing up time and time again. And so they, support you. And so that's really incredibly important. One of the things I do though, because I have a particular work schedule, I constantly take breaks. I believe that women should. I mentioned this in the boot camp. I believe that women are, not I believe, this is a biological fact. Women are the weaker vessel, and we need more rest than men do. And so there are literally seasons of the year where I don't do work for a month or two, and I do rest. If I'm on my cycle, I rest, and once a day, but definitely once a week, I have like a day of self-care. Um, and even when I was like, I remember being a graduate student at NYU, I hosted a day of relaxation where people would come in and get massages, like the students and stuff. Like I'm very big on rest, relaxation, self-care, because one, you need it. You're a human being, not a robot. Like life is to be enjoyed, right? I feel like all that we're doing there should be some kind of enjoyment at the end of it all. If we're working so hard and um, yeah. All right. Next, to empower individuals. Most definitely, community can be so empowering and so inspirational. It is so incredibly important. I think about when I go to conferences or I'm a part of many different communities. That's a consistent theme throughout my life. I like to operate with and be around like-minded people because it's fun. I think about this female empowerment program I helped design back at NYU, and we went to Morocco, and like we all were interested in female empowerment. We all were able to connect with that and bond with that, and what a beautiful experience that we've had. That's a bond that we'll always have together for life. Same thing. One of the causes I'm interested in is combating homelessness. I used to be super, super into addressing that issue because growing up in New York, you see so many homeless people, and it would make me really, really sad. And so it's not something that I've experienced and I don't want to experience. I actually feel like housing is a human right. But that's me. If I were president of the world, nobody would be homeless. Or hungry, because like, come on now, guys. Like this is just fundamental. Like you need these things to survive as a human being. So yeah, vote for me for president. No, I'm never running actually. I'm never running for president. When I was at NYU, I was president of the Steinhardt graduate student organization, and people voted for me to be president of that. And they were like, "She needs to be president of the country one day." And I'm like, "It ain't happening." Like I said, women need rest. You ain't stressing me out. I could write some policy briefs though, or show up and do an event or two. I'm totally down with that. Absolutely. Empower individuals, most definitely. A lot of times, social entrepreneurs. Many don't understand that they need to be emotionally resilient. Right now in the economy, we're in a recession. And times are really strange since 2020. Like we've just been in recession. Things have just been strange in the economy. It's just been like yo-yoing. And you need to, as an entrepreneur, understand that you must be emotionally resilient. And need to learn how to live below your means and to save money. We talk about that a lot in the boot camp and in the post-boot camp mentoring sessions. And I didn't mean to actually like promote the boot camp today, but like it's just it all weaves in together with Dr. Weaver. And so, but most definitely, you need to be emotionally resilient. You need empowerment, especially for people that are going through things like you. It is so important to like be in community with people and recognize that you are not the only one going through certain things. I have this book. It's called Mindful Moments for Busy Moms. And I read it several times every year. I've had the book since before the pandemic, actually, since about 2018. Yeah, when I was pregnant with my daughter, that's when I got the book. Wow, it's been 7 years and I read it every year. Such a good book. Um, but one of the things it says in that book is that moms need community. You need to literally just be in the presence of other moms to, even if it's something like, oh, you're just certain things that your kid's going through at school, bullying. Some kids have issues being mute. You will think that you're going through things alone, and then you'd realize how common it is if you were just in community, and you wouldn't be sitting here feeling like a failure or feeling like insecure about things that like we're all literally going through, or like 40% of us are going through, And it's so important to like just be around people that are empowering and not being around people that are overly critical. And I have a hunch, a feeling that because many social entrepreneurs are empaths, if you look at the research on empaths and books on empaths and spirituality, many empaths grew up in houses or homes with narcissists, the narcissistic people. And if you did, you're definitely going to need some empowerment, especially if you haven't learned to heal that, um, because not everybody does learn to heal that, you know? Yeah, and you're going to need some empowerment because of the internal critic that occurs when you are around a narcissist, because narcissists constantly devalue you. That's the high and lows. They idealize you one minute and then they knock you down another minute and try to rebuild you back in a way that is suitable for them, but it will never be above them with a narcissist. They don't want you to shine brightly. Yeah, in general, actually. And so that's that. Emotional resilience and empowerment are another important factors because it's two different things in why social entrepreneurs need community. And last but not least, product and event promotions. Hello. Like, we need to share what we're doing with each other. And also awards and things like that. We need to celebrate one another and recognize the great people that are doing work in our fields, recognize the great programming that's being created, recognize that the world isn't all doom and gloom. There are social entrepreneurs out here celebrating life and doing good out in the world. I have the prettiest flowers. Look at my flowers. I have more. This is just a part of the bouquet. So pretty. But I just looked over and like yesterday they were closed and now they're opening and they smell so fragrant and beautiful. And so yes, event promotion and program promotion, like I said, there's somebody out there that is seeking what you have. And one of the ways that they can actually find you is through putting yourself out there, being visible. And so I created the International Institute for Social Entrepreneurship's membership community recently. And so check it out on my website, rashidaweaver.com. And it's a monthly subscription to a community specifically designed for social entrepreneurs. And this is something I've wanted to create since about 2018, 2019. And I kept overthinking it. And then life started happening. Like there was a pandemic, I had a baby, like all this stuff started happening. And I got two kids. And now is the time. Like, so, it's like maybe now, I think actually, now that I think about it, I think it is divine timing. Like, it's the perfect time for me to be launching this. And I'm so excited to continue working with the hundreds of social entrepreneurs that I already am working with and getting them in community and seeing what happens. We'll be doing monthly, I'm calling it sit and sips. So having a little drink and we sit in the chair like this and we sip on our drinks, our beverages. I don't drink coffee. And I'm decreasing my matcha intake. Me and caffeine, like I like this because it's bubbly. I like it. Uh, it's funny how your life changes as you get older because I used to hate sparkling like water. Now I actually like it. Now this is sparkling water actually. A Waterloo. I checked the ingredients because I was like, are you sure there's no sugar in here? Because why do I like this this much? It says zero sugar, but it tastes good to me. It's so good. Oh my goodness. But I like it. It's bubbly. And you get your coffee, you get your matchas. Me and caffeine, I have so much energy that me and caffeine makes me literally seem like I'm on drugs or something. And well, but some people do consider caffeine a kind of a drug, a legal drug. But for me, it's just a bit too much for me to handle at times. So I've had to slow down on it. The other day, I was tempted to get some coffee because I remember, but I haven't had it in years. But I'm not doing it because I remember what happened to me the last time. I had an anxiety spiral and almost like a panic attack. And I was like, oh hell no, I'm not going through that again. So no coffee for me. It's just gonna be something I look at on commercials and I watch everybody else drink in delight. Well, I do not engage. But anyway, I'm so excited for the membership community. And also, if you can't join the membership community for whatever reason, join community wherever you are. I want to tell this one last story before I go. Um, about 2018, I believe this place closed during the pandemic, and this is really sad. But there was a place in New York City in the Chelsea area called the Center for Social Innovation. And it was this huge co-working space. I believe it had over 250 social entrepreneurs, social enterprises working there, running their businesses from there, their organizations. Some were nonprofit organizations as well. And they were making millions of dollars, like combined, like these different organizations. And I went in to work one day. They allowed anyone to come in and do like basically a co-working session. And they had like community lunches where people would, like potlucks essentially. But it was like the people from the different businesses and social enterprises were like, making lunch together and eating together. And it was such a beautifully designed, unique, intriguing space for social entrepreneurs. And it doesn't exist anymore. And it was in New York City. And I really loved it. And I hope that this institute, one day, years from now, when my kids are a lot older and I could just be there, in and out and stuff like that. I would like to have something like that, a membership community and space. But right now, the space is virtual. And through the conference that we'll be hosting in 2026 for the first time, that will be a physical space for us to connect. But until then, we have a new online space for us to connect with each other daily. It's like your Facebook, it's like your Instagram, but it's just social entrepreneurs sharing your events, sharing your promotional any promotions that you've got going on, looking for employees, looking for interns. So it won't just be social entrepreneurs on the platform. If we do it right, I'll invite some people that want to partner with social enterprises as well. And so that's exciting. And let's be a safety net for each other. Let's be a community for each other. Let's share our unique situations and circumstances so that we can really operate in community and have the opportunity to be there for one another. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and share. Ciao.